We live in a culture and in a society that you have to be more intentional with your well-being. We don't live in a time period where things are relaxed, where the pace of life is slower. No, those days are unfortunately gone. However, it doesn't mean that peace of mind, a restful state, a time of relaxation cannot be a reality we live in, but you have to be intentional about it. It's just not going to come about. Those days of just, whistling on your way down to the local pond or lake to go fishing and whistling your way back. Mayberry is gone for a lot of people. Now, there's some people that still enjoy that lifestyle, but for the lion's share of people, especially in the workforce and in the workplace, people with children at home, heck, you could be retired and probably understand that life can be busier than it's ever been before. It's just the nature of our technological society. However, that's not healthy done all the time. You have to take times and take places, take a place, mark out a spot, mark out a time, put it on your calendar. You have to be intentional about doing well and living well. So I want to give you 7 ways to do well, both physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. These 7 tips I think are going to help you. 7 ways to do well. Number 1, take notes. You live in a time period where there's new things coming all the time, and if you want to learn anything well, if you've got a new skill set that you're trying to develop, a new thing at work that you're having to learn how to do, take notes and take notes well. Plan. Here again, you don't live in a world where you can just wing it anymore. You do have to do some planning. And don't just be someone that listens to things and hears things, but actually put actions to the good ideas you hear. Contextualize things that happen to you in life, because sometimes without the context of what's going on, you can misinterpret a lot of things, internalize them, and all of a sudden they're like death sentences to your soul. So learn to contextualize, learn to take care of physical health, learn to take care of financial health, learn to take care of emotional health, learn to take care of yourself. Number 6, learn to release things. And number 7, and finally, learn to reach for things. Let me get into how you can practically do all 7 of these things to do well in every part of your life. Number 1, how do you take notes? It's amazing that people that are in school and people that are taking classes and people that are taking courses, TW3 members even, it is amazing to me in my coaching time, our homeschool time here with our children, learning how education and learning new skill sets work for other people and the different learning styles. There's one common denominator that cuts across all different learning styles, all different avenues of where learning takes place, and that is people who take notes do better. You retain more. You understand more. It becomes a reality. There is something about just the practical pen to paper. I'm not talking about taking notes on a computer. I'm not talking about, jotting notes down with a dictaphone or, text to or speech to text. I'm talking about literally a piece of paper and pen or pencil. Take notes. Record what you hear. Record everything you hear, okay? Because so many times you'll probably try to start editing before you start recording. Forget about the editing. Everything that comes in your pathway that you understand, that you hear, that you discern, that you're able to use one of your 5 sensories and get some sort of idea what's going on, write it down. And then, and only then, after you've recorded everything that you've perceived through your 5 senses, reduce it down. That's when you start taking editorial control over things and you say, okay, this isn't important, this isn't important, this is just a nuance, this is just backstory, this is just context to the major point. You can get into that sort of, what's important, what's not, but you do it after the fact. Record everything, reduce it down, then recite it. Okay, this is what was said. This is how it works. You recite it. You start internalizing. You verbalize it outside. Then you start reflecting it. You start saying, okay, this is what it means. This is how it applies. You start taking in that thing and reflecting what you just heard, what you just recited. Reflect it. And number 5, and finally, review it again. If you will do those 5 R's, you will be a better note taker. And because of that, you will be able to discern and learn more through greater note taking. Number 5, effective planning. If you want to do well, become more organized with your time. Okay. So that means everything has to be written down in a calendar or on your Calendly. I love using Acuity. Other people use Calendly. Whatever tool function, we have a CRM that will sync to a lot of those for our members, but write everything down in calendar. Make room for everything. Your breaks, your time off, when you're not doing something, make room for everything. Write down your goals, everything that you want to do. Big to small, write it down. Write down all of those inspirational quotes that you get, whether you listen to Zig Ziglar or Tony Robbins or Les Brown or Terry Wilson or whoever inspires you, whoever motivates you to go to that next level, whoever gives you illustrations of what life could be. Write those things down. Put it in your calendar. Write your finances down. Plan for that. Everything goes on it and in it, and even your personal time. Let me tell you something. If you don't schedule time off, especially as an entrepreneur, you won't have time off. So everything you got to do, everything that you don't want to do, everything, write it down, put it in a planner. Animate the audio. And what I mean by that, don't just be a hearer, but be a doer. There's a good passage of scripture. Don't be a hearer of the word, but a doer also. So many times, it's probably one of the biggest problems you will find in religious circles. It doesn't matter what denomination you're in. So many people, they go and they listen to some sort of philosophical, theological, lofty ideas, concepts and constructs of how to live life better, how to do better, but it never leaves the philosophical realm. It's just a great idea. And then they practically go back to living and doing the activity they always once did. Well, listen, if you don't take what you hear and put action to it, then it does not do any good for you. After 12 years of doing TW3, I can tell you, we've got a 6-step program that we tell people, if you will do these 6 steps, if you will learn and develop the skill sets to do what we're telling you to do, and you will do it the way we show you, we guarantee you results, because it's a numbers game. But so many people, they hear it, they listen, but they never do. So here's some things you can do to animate the audio. Number 1, ponder what's being said. Then number 2, wander mentally, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. Let your imagination take wild, and imagining yourself, if you did what you're pondering, where you could be, and then look toward yonder of where you want to go. So don't just hear it, but ponder it. Wander around in the concepts and the ideas and what it means to you and how it applies, and then start doing it, even though you're wandering through, and it doesn't make sense, but just ponder it, wonder about it a little bit, let it inspire you, the awe about it, the wonder about it, and then go yonder, go and move from where you're at and go over there. Excuse my southern dialect here a little bit, and a little bit of fun with words, but ponder, wander, and yonder. That's how you animate audio. Number 3 here, contextualize the failures you have. You're going to have failure, but I love what Zig says, failure is an event, it's not a person. So number 1, don't identify with the failure. You are not the failure. It's not about a matter of who failed. It's a matter of what failed. Okay. So anytime you have business failure, personal failure, anything about that, then I analyze not the who, but the what. What failed me? Did I fail myself? Did an idea fail me? Did an activity fail me? Did a way of doing things fail me? And then ask yourself, when did it start? When did this failure begin? And I can tell you this, it's not actually when you actually started doing the things that caused the failure. It's when you started believing the belief system that caused the activity. So isolate, why do I believe that? Where did I implement it, and why do I believe it? If you will contextualize your failure and not internalize it, you will learn from your failure, and failure becomes an asset, not a liability. And number 4, finally, care for yourself first. You can't help anyone else until you've helped yourself, and that's not being selfish. That's being wise, because how are you going to help someone if you're starving yourself. So care for your physical health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health. Those are the three major things you have to do if you're going to be a help to anyone in the world. And release stigmas, mental problems, physical problems, emotional problems. These are all things that you can say, man, mental disorders and mental health and emotional disorders are a real thing, and they shouldn't be stigmatized. Listen, that doesn't make you less than, but be wise about it. Be okay with it. Understand it. And get help for it. If you got a physical problem, don't beat yourself up. Oh, you got an emotional problem? Take care, release the stigmas so that you can then reach out and be a help to your community, and reach out when you need help. You got to connect with people. You're no man's an island. If you want to do well in life, finally, 7, reach out to the community, the church, the causes that you care for, care groups that you have. That is the way that you're going to do well. Even if you're an introvert, even if you're someone that says, hey, Terry, everybody's got to be connected to a small level at some times to find life, because we are all human beings made to connect with one another, and uniquely designed and fitted together to build an organism that we're supposed to do. So business people, connect with your team. Churches, connect with your people. Schools, connect with you. Families, connect. No matter where you're at, you're not going to do well until you do well by your community, church causes, and care groups. Those are the 7 ways to do well, and I hope it will help you take your money, your business, and your life to all new levels, because as you do well for others, you will do well for yourself.